afternoon. Thanks for coming. Did everyone sign in? Okay.
Yes, we'll make sure to sign in on our way out.
Yeah, if you didn't sign in, you can do it on the way out right at the front desk. Be sure and silence your cell phones and other devices. Today we have a local resident, Art McDonald, who will speak to us about wills and powers of attorney and all the final paperwork you need. And he will be assisted by our friend Jim Sauter. So whenever you're ready.
Good morning, or afternoon, or hello. Good day, as I said. Anyway,
I need a folder.
you need a folder,
Should we put folders at empty seats in case other people come in late?
if you'd like. There we go. We can do that.
So you won't need another.
We saved your seat.
Thank you. Very much.
My name is Art McDonald. I moved here in '92. I love our town. Jim and I have been neighbors since then. And I'm the new guy on the block, I think. But anyway, we just went through a situation where we had a neighbor failing health and eventually passed away, and never married, no kids, and we were as close to family as she had. And we ended up, and she refused to sign a will. She was very hard-headed, drove us crazy. Great lady, but anyway. So we just wanted to share what we learned. That's all. I'm not an attorney. I'm not selling anything. We just wanted to give back, period, And so these are a few things. Jim and I did all of the legal and financial stuff. We live in a great state. It's all in here, I think. And I set up a Dropbox if anybody wants to go online, and Allison can share it with you or whatever with all the documents. But if you go on mass.gov, that's the keys to the kingdom, if you will. And if you don't not comfortable with using a computer, then I'm sure somebody can help you. I'll be glad to help you, whatever. But I wanted to go over a couple of the processes that Jim and I went through to do this, and we just prepared this simple. I don't have any slides or anything like that, and this is going to be not that long of a thing, because this is a lot of information, and these are all templates you have in this folder here. I got them all off mass.gov or these other sites, and they're templates that basically can help you think about what you want to do with your assets in your life. And I would love for us to be able to share some of the stories like a few of us have already done, to the problems we've had, the costs we've had to incur, the challenges we've had. There's a lot of legal terms that Jim and I are going, let me Google that. What does that mean? So anyway, but basically, I felt like I wanted to start off with, this has helped us learn that every day is special, So eat well, get up and move around, exercise. We have a great community here. Be good to yourself every day, because you never can tell if this is going to be your last day. Hopefully it won't, but hug a lot, on and on, and so on and on. So I just that's real important to me. One of the things, because it just happens so quick to our friends. So sleep, 7 to 9 hours a night. Okay, exercise, movement, not overrated. Any questions about that? Can I go over that again? Real important. Clutter. Do not look at my office. Do as I say, not as I do. No.
Don't look at my barn.
Anyway, really, we will not hold up mirrors so we can look at ourselves. But one of the things that is one of the biggest challenges just starting to go through. Is there any questions, first of all? Anybody have any comments or questions, or, why are you here, to make sure we touch on some of these things? Or
I just wonder what happened in the end to your neighbor.
She passed away July 30th.
But I mean to her estate.
to her estate. Well, Jim and I figured out, we engaged an attorney, and we're just blown away by the cost, and Jim can talk more about that.
Yeah, I hired an attorney, I'm not mentioning any names, and she interviewed this lady, and we're going to set up a program, which was a guardianship. Well, you have a guardianship, and it takes all control away from us. The state appoints whoever the lawyer decides is going to be the guardianship. You have to make a report once a month to the state of what you spent, how you spent it, and the cost would have been worse than the other way. And then we decided at night that when she was in the hospital, that she appointed us as her power of attorney and her health care proxy. And that as she was alive, we made all her decisions whether to let her go at the final end, or to pay her bills, to pay any of our expenses. And the forms that we had to fill out to get this were pretty tough.
So
And we made
since
8.
she died and there was no will, so you
There
had
was
to go
no,
through
there was no will
probate?
whatsoever. I was
So you
getting
go
to
through
probate now, yeah. And so we ended up going to the probate court in Cambridge, at least 8 trips, the probate court. The people there, the attendants there were fabulous. They
Really?
guided us, they told us which route to go, and they were amazed that we were doing this by ourselves. She says that we have attorneys come in, that the paperwork is way out of line, and they have to make another trip. And she says a lot of that sometimes is done on purpose, because these lawyers are getting $450 an hour, by the way. So they guided us, and we did the proper work, and we called them when we needed to, and they guided us along. So that when the person passes, our power of attorney is gone. So we had to, because there's no executor, even with a power of attorney, she wouldn't write any papers. This was all done by the hospital and the practitioner at New Horizons.
But did she have heirs?
One brother in Germany, that's the kicker.
Who wanted nothing to do with her.
Nothing
And
to
we've
do.
been FaceTiming him, we've called him, written him and everything. Good guy.
He retired from IBM he had a high position. So he said, Jim, we made an agreement, the two of us, that what I have is mine, what you have is yours, and we're not gonna interfere. So anyway, we
But never
went,
married, no kids.
yeah. So anyway, the courts gave us joint executorship. And we were going through the process of putting her house up for sale, selling some of her goods we were cleaning the house out and getting rid of stuff. Come to find out, for the sale of the house, we had to get another permit. That cost, by the time we got done, was almost $800. Even though we were the executors of her estate, you need and she had no will, we had to get another permit, go through the process again to sell her home, which is another.
Well, it's not a nightmare. I mean, again, mass.gov has very good instructions, very simple, but forms, there's a lot of legalese, and you gotta take a deep breath and just read it and everything.
How long did it take you to finish it?
We're not done yet.
We're not done yet. Oh, no, we're still waiting for tax information to come in from Social Security.
Just for this past year? Does
Correct.
that close, once you pay taxes in the year the person dies, it closes it off, right?
Yes, I believe so. We are about to go to the person who did her taxes last year with everything that we have,
Right.
and have him tell us, because again, I'm not an attorney, I'm not an accountant. But we're working through this, taking a step at a time. What are we learning? Jim and I talk all the time, and, you know,
Most of the
Flat
problem
plate.
is caused by no will.
Yeah.
Correct.
No, well,
correct.
I think that's our
Yeah.
purpose here today.
Yeah, and that's just to show you a couple of things like this, so.
Let me finish, okay? See, I've given the same speech at the Veterans Coffee Hour, and 2 or 3 people there hadn't had their wills made out. And I climbed all over them, and I said, you've got to get a piece of paper, make out your will, have it notarized,
Not
have someone as the
heavy lifting,
executor, and have them hold a copy, and you hold a copy, and it's perfectly legal. I said, if you don't, I said, we've been working on this case for 6 months, and we still haven't finished yet because of no will. And so I ask everybody that's been in, it's been hell, in plain English. Art and I have been banging our heads together, what do we do next, how do we do this next? And it all comes in a time-consuming, for the simplest will is all you need.
So
Yeah.
you've been working on it for 6 months now.
Yeah.
It's still ongoing. If there had been a will,
We
how
would have
quickly
been, we would have been done. Pretty,
Pretty immediately,
yeah.
you know.
We could have cleaned everything up.
Because-
Even though she doesn't have an executor associated?
She would have had an executor. We are personal representatives. We had to get letters of authority to become co-personal representatives, which is the term when you don't have a will. I'm learning all these words that so far over my head, you know, but yeah, we would be the executor. All the decisions would have been made up front. And this is what we're trying to encourage everybody, just thinking about it. You know, the secret is there is no secret.
Also, on our approval, it has 3 different columns. One is guided by some judge before you can make a decision. And the middle one is, gave us complete control. And then there's the one below that one, and I forget what that was. But thankfully, they gave us the one with complete control, no supervision. And if they had done one or the other, we would have been having paperwork up to our eyeballs, because every month you would have had to make a report to the state or to the court of what you spent and what it was for. And this way here, because they investigate you. You just don't go in there and file, and it's about 8-day, 9-day period, we get the results. But if you've got any shady character, they're gonna supervise, because the lady there, the young lady says, this state is very, very tough on elder abuse. He said there is so much of it going on, and especially in cases similar to this, where, he said, we've checked yours out. And so you're getting the unconditional rights to her assets to do with as you please. And
And she was a
otherwise,
very generous person, so that's what we're trying to do, is to distribute her assets to the charities and things that she gave to, and, you know, because we were the only family that she had. Yes, sir?
Well, this is clearly was a very difficult situation, and it's admirable, laudable that you put in, put all this energy into it.
many, many hours.
But could you tell us what we need to do so that we don't end up in a similar
I
situation?
Yeah.
I just told you.
Yeah,
Make
well-
Make a will, make a will.
Let's go through these documents and everything like
I
that.
have a quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
Maybe pertinent before we start, sorry to interrupt, but is it better to make a will and, for the example, I have lots of nieces and nephews, but I'm not sure who wants to get what, or who should
Sure,
get what. So
sure.
is it better to get a will and have kind of a general picture, and then you can change it later?
No,
You need to know right away.
you want to make specific decisions. You give the executor the power and tell him to divide your assets evenly among your survivors.
If you want.
If you want,
Oh,
yeah.
if you want.
If there are specific assets, like I'd like you to have this gold ring, I'd like you to have my car, okay? And then
So that all should be decided.
Yeah, and this is where thinking is everything, okay, about,
Excuse me, I would say yes to that, because something you just said, Art, you don't know what tomorrow's gonna bring. And you can say, I can get change my will or codicil to my will later on,
yeah,
and then you
Never
may be
do that.
gone. And,
But to even do a will, that could be a barrier that you procrastinate and just don't deal because you don't want to make a decision. So I was wondering, would it be better to do something
at a high level,
at any level,
Yes.
just to get it going,
Yes.
and then?
some breath as opposed to no breath at all, then maybe peel the onion back and do it another level. Everybody that you might want
So
to
for
leave
now-
something
for
to
now,
and
just
everything
get
you have.
something documented.
Excuse me?
Yeah, the spouses.
For now, just get
For now.
something documented.
Yes, have something, a simple will.
This house is automatic.
the other thing, too, and Mike's not counting, maybe he can answer this, that, you can get to a point where you can just say, I know, I'm your niece, and you say, I've been wanting to give her that emerald ring, I'm gonna give it to you now while I can, and it's what's the joy in her
good
face
point.
when I give
Yeah,
it.
you
There you
can
go.
do
You
that.
can do that,
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
There's money, there's limits on the gift tax law.
okay.
So-
So this is just really good conversation. I want to go through this and continue the conversation after this so that this might provide a little format, context, if you will, to some of the comments. So these are just some things to help you think about what your assets, what you might want to list. Insurance and death benefits on the back of the first page. Pension benefits, bank savings and loan, real estate, mutual fund stock, et cetera. So this is just, these are thinking tools.
And the website, formswift.com?
Yes, yeah.
And that's a great tip to give us.
Oh, yeah, no, that's where these templates are, and you can go up there and fill in this PDF document, Control S, save the document to your machine, print it off, life is good. So that's, the secret is there is no secret. It's some nice capabilities. A living will, it talks a little bit about, on whatever this next to the last page is, if something happens and you're incapacitated, you need to think now what you want to do. Things like that.
And I had to make that decision,
Yeah,
and I had to go to UMass in Worcester. It was a tough decision. I talked to both the doctors and the nurses and the head supervisor, and they gave me the full details of what was going on. And
because he had the healthcare proxy.
I had to tell them to just make her comfortable, and I cried all the way home. But this,
A lot of tears shed.
it's an odd feeling to have someone's life in your hand. And what if I made the wrong decision? But I know I didn't. But something in the back of your mind always says, what if?
Which is why we want you to think about this now,
But think about it now.
while you're of
And you
reasonable
make the
good mind.
decision, not somebody else makes the decision.
And we have 5 wishes. We have this pamphlet in the COA office that says 5 wishes, and it asks you specific questions ahead of time that you can start thinking about and then answer them.
Excellent.
But it's probably similar to this living will, for another website you can go to that probably asks questions.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That,
So-
that 5 wishes is really excellent. I used it with my aunt, and I sat there and asked her all, not just questions pertaining to the living will, but just in general. Did she want to have quiet at the end? Did she want music, things like
nice.
that to really think about the end.
And
So
this
I
is,
found that to be very.
Okay.
this is something that's getting quite popular now, is being cremated. And we had known way in advance that she wanted to be cremated. She said, when I go, I want to be cremated. I said, you're only 72 years old, what do you. And so you want to have your, whether you want a regular funeral or cremation, you want that in your will or on your,
I want my ashes spread in the Gulf of Mexico. I was born in Tampa, so I can just float around the world.
you'll sink.
For a couple of those muffins, I will. Anyway, this,
Eileen,
Picked up
did you
last
have a
time.
question, Eileen?
Yeah, I'm looking at the sheet because I had asked Arthur a question before, because I have a will, one of several, but the one I just had made because of many problems with other wills. Because I have many children, my youngest daughter is my administrator of the will, and I was afraid, I didn't know. I questioned whether all the things that I have, like my house and 2 mutual funds, whatever financial benefit came through that, was she going to be taxed on that? Because she has the responsibility of dividing my assets among 8, the rest of the family.
I think with the new tax
On
law,
this form here, you have beneficiary, the relationship, bequeathed inheritance. Would I then just put estate?
as far as I know, and you want to check on this yourself, if it's under $1 million inheritance,
Go in there.
if it's under $1 million, there's no federal tax.
Oh, okay.
Because
Because
yeah,
I
that's
didn't want
key
her to be
information.
stuck paying for,
and that was just passed last year because a lot of the farmers out west owned thousands of acres. And when the parents died, it was worth, millions of dollars. And their sons couldn't take it over because of the inheritance tax.
yeah,
And so he eliminated that, anything under $1 million, there's no inheritance tax.
there is no.
I don't know about the state law,
Yeah, federal.
but I know the federal law, that's eliminated. For the average person, if you got property over $1 million, then you're gonna get taxed.
But Eileen should not have to worry about who's the executor or something, they're not getting personally taxed. It doesn't
Correct.
affect their
Correct.
No.
their assets or income at all. They're just coordinating the event for the estate.
Correct.
The estate might
Yeah,
get
but
the
the
shot.
funds will come to her.
No.
And then
No, they
she
won't.
will divide.
They'll go into an estate of
Yeah.
account.
So she will not be liable for anything.
So while we had power of attorney, we could write checks on her personal account to pay her bills.
And it wasn't affecting your,
Correct. Okay, so as soon as she passed, we were like, boom, checks bounced, deposits wouldn't be accepted. I was going, what the heck? So that's when we went down and got the letters of authority for personal representative, and the funds automatically went to the estate of
Okay.
a new account.
We had to close one bank account and open
So,
another one.
again, it was a very smooth process. Banks know how to do this
But
type.
you even have to get talking about personal, you're exactly right, but the IRS wants a separate account, EIN number.
Yeah,
Correct.
we got it.
And the bank gave us that.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you had been an executor, you wouldn't have had to go through all that, right?
Back when my mom
Yes,
passed
you
away
would.
a few years ago,
I mean, you wouldn't have
joined
needed
on her account
permission to do those things.
Correct. We
You
would
were-
not have
if
had
you
to go
were-
down to the
you were
probate court because we
executor,
already
you
had
were
it.
not in charge of
Correct.
the
If you
state.
have
When
everything,
my
you
mom
just
passed
the
away,
first.
I brought
Excuse-
a death certificate to the bank, I brought everything to the bank, and we opened the account that you're talking about, the estate account. So then my name's on that, the estate of Virginia McDavitt, I'm the trustee of that. And I had an attorney too, who helped me with this. And then I could pay those bills like these gentlemen were doing. And then after Mike finished with her, because he's an accountant, or was, retired now, but he filed all the taxes you're going through now. And once that was all done, then my last check was written. I knew there was nothing else that I had to write. We were all up to date. And I closed the account with the estate, and we're done,
Well, and-
So that your daughter, she will take care of that, but she won't have to pay for anything.
And
Yeah.
your daughter, in fact, as an executor, can take at the end, a certain percentage of the estate will go directly to her for her services as beneficiary, as executor.
We had a large farm in Hudson. And this was an enormous amount of money. talked to her, and she said that law has been abolished. There's no set amount that you are allowed, so long as you have written proof of what you spent and it was towards the benefit of the people, the executors, to clear the whole mess up. There's no 20%, no 10%, because I had heard before that the executors were allowed to take 20%, and that's not true. Oh, if you put time in, you keep a record of your time, of what you've done, and whatever you feel your time was worth, you pay yourself.
So can I,
Makes me think I should change whoever is the administrator, because the daughter I picked is a workaholic.
Okay.
She never seems to have any time for anybody else, but.
But I think, I think the point that Art and I are trying to make is, if you don't have things in place before you pass, it's gonna cause your heirs headaches like you wouldn't believe. I mean, it's
Lot
nice
of
we're here
confusion.
talking.
Yeah.
But you didn't see us when we were scratching our heads and on a minute's notice have to
The twitching
go
will
down,
stop.
go down to Cambridge to sign some more papers or get another permit, and to get the house cleaned up, whatever repairs needed made.
So let's learn how to prevent that from happening.
There you go, okay.
We'll go to a
Question.
website.
so on the second, on the second page,
Yes,
you start with insurance and death benefits.
yes,
Life insurance policies. I think that's pretty clear.
yep.
Yeah.
But the next section,
Other death benefits, okay? So do you have a pension fund that might have a life insurance rider on it? Okay, that's all, just, this is
so you write down what you currently have.
yeah, and this is, just define it. That's all we're trying to help you, think about, is providing some format. And these are Word documents that we'd be glad to send you and share with you, if you want to use these. That was the whole idea, is to use these as the beginning, do a file save as, so you can have your own documents and whatnot. So add more lines to it. Don't use all the lines, whatever is your best model.
It's
That's,
a lot of homework just trying to gather all
You have
your
all this
accounts.
information.
oh, yeah. And then we get into the,
His job.
getting into the forms is the personal financial statement. I do a lot of, analytics, reporting and analytics, with financials and stuff like that. And this is a big challenge for many people and I'm just doing one for my son. I have a son that's 45 living in Atlanta, and income statement. How much do you make? How much do you spend? How much is left over? Let's go over that again. But it doesn't come naturally to many people, okay? So I have another income statement model that I will share with you if you'd like. So you can budget on a weekly basis if you want to, or a monthly basis. And then how much do you spend? So you can start thinking about, well, do I really need that Starbucks, 5-gallon mocha cappuccino thing or whatever? I'm sorry, I'm a Dunkin' Donuts guy.
So back to this form, are you
Yes.
just putting down the names of the institutions, or are you also putting down amounts?
Whatever is relevant for you. This is just,
For example, a
401?
401, do you just put down the?
401K, yeah. I mean,
Who has it?
Yeah.
It's a 401.
it's a document, in case lightning comes down and strikes you, somebody will know.
Stock company has it.
Okay.
Whoever has it, and the account number is probably what you want to put.
Okay,
And 401K is helpful because it's probably more problem to get loose.
Yeah.
And, I think you have to clear a 401K out. You can't let it keep going.
On the person's death, that's right.
Right.
But that too is transferred over to the estate of 401, okay?
Yeah.
Which is what we learned, and then that estate of can
Yeah,
be
but if-
distributed.
If you have a separate, if you have
It's
a bank
crazy.
account or whatever, that can be kept going, but the 401K has to be cashed in, and the state pays taxes on it that year. At least that's the way I
Yeah,
understand.
that's what we're waiting to learn. This is a work in process. So, anyway, a lot of this personal financial statement, again, this is just to help you think about what's relevant for you. Many of these may not be, relevant or, whatever. But these are just some of the documents. Yes, ma'am?
Well, for me, another purpose of this document would be, if you die, your spouse will then know a lot of it. Will know all
Exactly,
this
exactly.
information, because maybe you're the financial person in the partnership and the other doesn't, so this is really important.
Really, yeah. So it's a communication.
Whatever's wrong with James.
If I completely lose my mind this afternoon, which might happen, and Anne Marie will know. And
I was reading something last night, and I think we sometimes forget that those of us that are on the computer, and we keep files on the computer, we keep information,
Yeah.
including passwords.
oh, yeah.
Yes, to whatever.
Yeah.
That has to be written down. I mean, I've even thought of it for Mike and I, like, he's like, well, I'm doing this, and like today, he's got a conference call with Fidelity, and it's like, I don't even know the guy's name, and
I was just gonna say,
he's
that-
on the computer. And I said, if you were to go tomorrow, I said, I would not know how to contact that man, so we need to start writing things like that, our interactions on the computer.
I use KeyPass. It's a free encrypted ID and password thing, and I have one password that gets into KeyPass that I've given to Anne Marie, my wife,
Right.
which contains all of my IDs, and I have hundreds, of IDs and passwords that I can't. I don't have to remember them anymore.
There you go.
So, excuse me, I get excited about a little thing. So, and that's another thing, KeyPass. I can put these up in the Dropbox and you own it. And I can show you how to make sure you're comfortable doing that, whatever. Okay? And these are all templates. Again, we downloaded from these things. The last will and testament, same thing. Okay, a lot of legal terms in here that I really had to, figure out. So I'd call Jim and he'd go, oh, a testamentary trust. Tell him, Jim. Okay. No. We tried to buy a clue. Residuary, anyway, there's a lot of terms in here that,
Is this from a website, or is it your rewriting it so it's easy?
no, I did not rewrite anything. This is, I simply downloaded it. If it was a PDF, I put it into Word, so I could make changes or enter,
Sure.
things like that. So,
One thing, I wanna say, I think that if you're gonna make a trust out, you should get a lawyer right away, because it's very difficult. I spent just a lot of time just reading up, because we get taxed on it. It depends how long, there are certain stipulations. If the person dies, you have to take it to so many years. If not, then everything goes up front, you get taxed on like 40% of the funds, okay? So,
A trust, you can't even do anything with it for the first 5 years or 3 years.
yeah, you're right, that's what I'm saying, you ought to get,
Yeah,
the trust
if you
people-
have some underage
Right,
beneficiaries,
Yeah,
right. So get them involved right away, too, Laura. So
Also-
after you figure out what your will is, and,
there's pros and cons on trusts.
yeah, I agree.
We just went through it
Some of
three
them are good, and
times,
some of them
yeah.
I don't agree with.
Especially for his mom and dad, his mom, right, specifically. Big help getting a lawyer that specialized in our case, it was Medicare, Mass Health, all of it at once.
Yeah.
And the right type of trust, he had to sell her property in the state.
Yeah, there's a lot of variables.
So much,
Yeah.
but getting a specialized
This
lawyer
is
for
not about
something
doing
like
it
that,
without an
not
attorney.
just
This
going
is
to
about
by yourself.
talking about the process, what you can do,
Yeah.
what you need an attorney for. Good point. Did you have a question, sir, or a
No,
comment?
just
No,
one type
but-
of trust, there's different types, there's an irrevocable trust that you can also set up, which handles your, expenses, if you will, for burial, and it cannot be used for anything else, so you don't have to worry about if that is set up that way. There's a type of trust that's kind of halfway between irrevocable and regular trust. I had to go through this process, so.
Ah.
So, where there are certain stipulations, but then there's areas that are not, and they can be divided out. So it's, and please, the one thing I would tell you is make sure in your will, you do put the real estate in.
Yes.
Yes,
'Cause that costs us almost $800 to get a special permit to sell a house.
Yeah.
A special permit. And I just gotta say this,
But that was because there was no will.
right,
correct, correct. So anyway, I'm gonna just quickly go through these. We're submitting these for your review and consideration, and if we need to get together again, I'd be glad to.
okay, just one second. The purpose of this is to make you aware of what can happen if you don't have it all written down and specified. I figure, and I shouldn't be saying this as out of line, if we had put it in the hands of a lawyer, we would have spent over $140,000 figuring out our time at $5 or $4.50 an hour. That would come right off the top. And they make no bones about telling you. They charge you by the minute, by the 15 minutes, that they got a chart. They charge you for transportation, going to and from the courthouses. If, in a case like ours where there was no will, and we had to go through all this paperwork to get everything finalized where we can move, it would have, if they had done it at that rate of pay, which the lady quoted me, it would have come to over $120,000, $140,000. And that's a lot of money.
It's a good
Still
lunch.
is. Huh?
It's a good lunch.
Yeah. So I think the purpose of this, and Art's doing a great job of explaining it, but I think the bottom line is be prepared. Do something now if you don't have anything. Or even if you have something, recheck it to see if in the present state that we're in, if you have changed your mind, or if you have other interests that you want to have the will say, do it now.
So my feeling is that the purpose of this is, one, to tell us we should make a will, and I think everybody understands that now from hearing about you. But the second aspect of this, I thought, was how we can do things ourselves and not spend money.
There you go.
And so what are the biggest things that, because I went to a lawyer who said for $1,500 he could do our wills, which doesn't sound like anything terrible. But,
No.
but without a will, you're saying it could get very expensive.
Because there's a lot of, yes, time
So
spent.
so is it okay to go to a lawyer and spend $1,500
Oh,
for
I
them to
think
do
so.
it?
That's what we did. Sure.
Hmm?
Yes, I think so. I mean, you can do that, but what we're trying to share too is there's some formats that you can start to think about.
Oh, right, yes.
That's
Yeah,
all,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know. Pardon?
I'm sorry, are there ways to file a will without using a lawyer, to write it, I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can file,
Right, but I mean, I'm talking like. if
yeah, you
went
can
to
file at the
mayor
probate
or-
court. You have to have it notarized probably, signatures. Yeah,
Do you need a trust and a will, or you don't need both?
no, a will is the overriding
Oh, that override.
document, okay? Within the will, you may define that you want to trust if you have some under 18 years of age beneficiaries or whatever. I don't know all the variables for a trust.
There's other reasons to do it too.
I'm sure. I don't
If
know.
you put it in a trust, like say you have one child, you put in the trust for the child, creditors can't touch it.
No.
Nor could a spouse, if, if things went wrong in their marriage, the spouse can't get at it if it's in the child's name.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Oh,
there's
the
reasons to
irrevocable,
do it.
okay, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of things that again, I'm not an attorney, I don't know.
Oh, no, this is great, I mean,
Let me say it again. You can go online, get a ready-made will made out, fill it out, have it notarized, and make sure you got your your executor, your healthcare proxy, and list what you want to do when you go,
Your beneficiaries.
beneficiaries.
And that could change.
If you're trying to get it notarized.
Do what?
How do you find it or identify an executor, suitable executor?
Well, that's.
Who do you trust?
That's your trust. That's
Who's
up
close to you?
can
Who do
give
you
it to a
trust?
lawyer.
Heirs?
Pardon?
I have no heirs.
You have no heirs? Do you have a good friend?
Depends on the day.
I understand what you're saying.
So
Go
for
buy somebody
lawyers-
some coffee and say, oh, by the way. No,
Well, you could do that, you could do like this lady did.
An attorney that you trust,
yeah,
an
Good.
accountant that you trust, you know, a professional, someone that you know would carry out. If you go to an attorney, by law, by the license, they have to carry it out, the way you put it. They don't have a choice.
yeah.
The downside of that is, yes, they're gonna charge their billable hours to execute the will. So you just have to be aware of that aspect of it. But you could go that route, or as Art said, if there's someone that you really just trust that isn't, and is just gonna, you know is gonna do what you've asked them to do, that's who you wanna put it into the hands of.
Are the notary services here?
Yes,
Okay.
we have attorney Brian Burke, just recently became a notary, and he's offering
Nice.
free of charge for
Nice.
Stowe residents.
Just
So,
call up for an appointment or?
Call up for an appointment.
Okay, very good,
Yeah.
thank you. They used to do it at town hall, but I don't think.
Yeah, it's really now town-related business only at town hall.
Oh,
So we were telling people to go to their bank accounts for notary.
And
But
okay, well,
we
we can
now
do it
have
here.
it here, it's in our newsletter, the little blurb about Attorney Brian Burke.
Okay, I'm sensitive to everybody's time. The Advanced Healthcare Directive or Living Will, again, this talks about how, if you are incapacitated and cannot manage yourself, what do you want to happen? Again, it's just a template, but it's sort of important, okay? And the last one, a non-disclosure agreement, okay? This is not something that happens immediately. This is a part of, whenever we have a chance to talk to someone, we hear what we think and feel, okay? And so ladies are a lot better than guys about doing this, trust me. And, but talking to someone just to, and have someone who can ask you questions, be it an attorney or a good friend or whatever. This is just a non-disclosure agreement. If anybody here at the Council on Aging wants to listen to you. And this gives you legal security that they will never reveal anything that they hear. This is all this is. It's a simple document. I adapted this from my business documents where, I don't want anybody to know about this, whether I have too little money or too much money or who knows how much money I have, but I want somebody to talk to. And this is a document where, we can sign, okay, and you can, again, it's a Word doc, so we can change it, whatever. But that's just something I thought was important because this is sort of an important thing for each of us, as Jim and I have learned, and, and really, so that's the process. And it's a very labor-intensive, time-consuming process if you don't have that will made up. And that's with all the questions and everything, that's a lot, takes a lot of thought. And you're gonna change it probably, but that's okay. We take a step, okay, this is how I think, this is how I feel. And then something happens, oh, now this is how I think, this is how I feel. This is life. So, and I have mine right there in the drawer, and this whole process has prompted me to bring it out and going, I can't believe I did that. How could I change that? So we are different people, maybe not every day, but every couple of days.
Our mood changes.
Our mood changes. So anyway, but that's really all, and the conversation, the experiences, this is, one of the things that, starting right off at the front, eat well, get exercise, hug a lot of people, We have a great community place here, so get a lot of sleep, 7 to 9 hours. I could have gone to 10 this morning. It was such a
You
sleep.
do that every morning.
So Art, the good
Yeah.
thing with the budget, the personal financial statement, that helps you think too about crunching numbers of cash flow to see.
Oh, yeah.
If people are living longer and longer, it is good to kind of get a hold of your assets, to kind of project out how long, you'll survive 12 years if you're spending at this rate, and then, well, I guess that's not an essential expense, and it really, that's a good thing to look at too. all
Oh,
the
yeah.
numbers of,
Oh, yeah, I am the cheapest person I know, and I just
You want to
don't.
save money, so you don't know how, a lot of people are outliving their assets.
Well, and I don't work for Fidelity, but I have for 20 years been a customer of theirs and using their retirement planning tool, which does exactly as you said.
Yes.
You put all your anticipated retirement expenses, your income.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, everything, down to, you know, details of how many times the cleaner's coming to your house to clean, or whatever it is. And they tell you how long your money will last.
Yeah, no,
And it's
I'm a Fidelity
great-
customer too, and I agree there.
Great tool.
Yeah, so,
And it's free.
yeah,
You don't have to be a customer to use it.
no. No, and I'm working on a little spreadsheet that you can put in a budget, weekly, monthly, you know, annually, whatever, and I'm gonna put it out on the Dropbox so that we can do just that, and
That'll be good, because.
do a file save as for your own version, of course.
Yeah, we have a lot of people that they're just experiencing retirement now, and they're realizing that, wow, I can't spend like I did when I was working, so that's changing a lot, so they have to relook
That's
at
right.
a budget.
What's the Dropbox?
That's like a Google Drive, that's something that, it's free, up to 2 gigabytes. Do what?
What's the access to it?
Type in dropbox.com,
Okay.
and that'll get you up there and get you an account. You need an ID and a log on. I shared the one I set up
Yeah, I've
with
been
Allison.
with it. I mean, Dropboxes are designed for a large amount of documents, instead of just emailing each one.
But you keep saying you're gonna put this in the Dropbox.
Well,
So
yeah,
we
I mean,
wanna
and this
access
is
it.
Meaning
where,
that's how they'll give it to me, but I'll have it available.
if you want me to, I'd be glad to share it with you on an individual basis, and what I've done.
So this information that you're saying Dropbox, I should come here to find.
Yeah, Allison has it, can get it, and if you want to administer it, fine. If I may serve you and do that, let me know, because I sort of mentor for analytics a few people, and I put all the content in one, and then I have individual folders that only they can see, and we could do this too if you'd like. You could get something
We'll
in.
have the forms available for the people. who
Okay,
come in and
okay,
see.
however you, I'm,
But
you know.
it's also nice to have it electronic, you know, that's you.
I would
So-
use the Dropbox. So,
Okay, so anybody, so
So
let
then you
Allison
have to give
know.
access, right?
Pardon?
If you're the originator of the Dropbox, you have to give access.
Yeah, but I also give you access to edit and share it if you want to. But I'd be glad to do it. I know you do. Have nothing else to do all day long.
I figured if you're using the Dropbox just to
Is there a
transfer documents to
form
me, and then I have
that tells you
available for
what
people.
administrator is
But if you just share it, you don't have to email it.
Everything.
That's what I like
Yeah,
about
but-
it. You don't, get different versions coming back and forth.
If
So
And
if people want to
Say you have an
get
executive,
documents
you're gonna have to
via
have,
email and stuff, they could
can
contact
you
you.
write
yeah,
what you
no,
want.
or I
your
can share it
executive
with the
to do
Dropbox
your
with you.
estate,
I mean,
Or
it's
your cash.
not heavy lifting.
So if we went to
He- after you pass
Dropbox.com,
it,
we
he
set up
will
an account, how do we get to you?
want bound by law
That'll cost you a quarter.
do what you,
No,
what you wish.
art.mcdonald@businessandintel.com, but,
So,
so-
your daughter, if she's
yeah,
an
it's,
executive,
but
and you say you want
Allison can put you in
$10
touch
go to that
with
son
me,
and
right?
$20 go to that.
Yeah, I just don't want everybody bugging me.
$50 to that. She has to abide by that.
I don't have any business, well, I do have, anyway, but,
If she doesn't,
Well, I have been told when I'm wondering.
If I what?
The choice that I have made,
yes.
it sounds like your administrator
I have these
has
packages, I
a
make
big
all packages.
responsibility.
I can put,
she has all the
blow
responsibility.
up his business
It
card,
takes a lot
contact
of time.
That's what I wanted to do.
Art.mcdonald.
Art.mcdonald
is that
@BUSIN
It all depends on how complicated you make it.
INTEF.
Slow down.
So, just like I said, if you want to give a ring to this one or a watch to that one, that you have special, or your medal from being a
.com. The first
nurse
5
to
letters of
someone
business,
else,
This
the
is-
first 5 letters of
Of the all listed,
intelligence.
and
I
she
have
has
the
to
card,
do
I'm
that.
gonna blow it up, and
I can run, but I can't hide.
Transport, then she has the right to charge for that.
MC, like the
An hourly
hamburger.
rate.
Let's go do that right now. Gotta laugh, keep them trying.
I'm sure he'll appreciate that.
Oh, sorry, I asked.
I think he is.
What's he gonna do?
You don't need to do that. I've got cards. I don't know. You want a card?
Please.
Well, if nominated, I will not run, or I'm not selling it. You want a card?
But I think I'll get him out to the attorney. Guest speakers come in as an attorney. So I'm about to like some didn't talk about this. No aids.
The only thing I'm looking for is the link to the Dropbox might be helpful.
Are we all done?
What I'll do is I will
Hey,
your
are
emails.
we all done?
I think we are. Any other comments or questions? Because this is the beginning of a journey from the way I look at this. And you've got one. Thanks. I've got a couple of boxes of nominees. Okay.
Perfect amount, sorry, I asked.
No.
So is he.
Bill me for the cards.
I've got so much stuff I need to get rid of. This is good. So, anyway, we can do this again with comments and questions. This is a learning process, and you know, I appreciate everybody coming. Jim, I couldn't have done this without him because it takes somebody to talk to, and just to listen to you and say, well, you know, that's an interesting point of view, but have you considered this? You know, and it's a journey. So anyway.
Thank you.